Good morning, nice to have you join us today. Hope your day is off to a good start. Ours is, because Food City is kicking off the show with us this morning. This is Nicole Pajurko. She is a dietitian with Food City, and she's going to help us eat healthy and save some money. So good to see you.
Yes, and I think we're all thinking about that this time of year. The New Year's come around. We start with the best of intentions, but a few weeks in, oftentimes resolutions fizzle. And one of the biggest barriers to overcoming kind of healthy eating is cost a lot of the time. And so in kind of celebration of National Store Brands Month, Food City store brands can really help with cost savings, but they provide the same or similar ingredients and the same quality within your kind of budget constraints.
So first of all, I'll pause you. I had no idea that was such a thing. National Store Brand
Yes,
Appreciation
National Store
Month.
Brands Month. It's also Food Club's 80th anniversary. So Food Club and Full Circle Market, and I love Basket and Bushel too, are just a few of our store brands that offer those high quality ingredients.
Okay, so one thing I want to start with is the fact that here on this table, and you'll kind of walk us through what you have.
Yep.
But they're, except for your dairy items, I guess down there, they're prepackaged foods.
Yep.
And some people might think, oh, well, I can't possibly get nutrition in prepackaged foods.
That's an excellent point. We hear a lot about ultra processed foods these days, and there's really kind of, it's loosely defined what ultra processed means, but I think a good way to think about it is it doesn't have lots of maybe detrimental or less healthy foods added to it, and the good stuff is not taken away. That's a good way to think about it. But we have really nutrient dense foods that are processed, like canned items and grains and dairy products as well. And these, I think one of the best ways to improve healthy eating habits is starting with sustainable, smart changes. And one tip would be to balance your plate with at least 3 food groups.
Okay.
Just starting off.
Okay.
We talk about the My Plate, and that kind of includes all of them, but just starting with 3 is a good way to go. I think at breakfast time, that could be a fruit. We tend to get a little bit more fruit rather than vegetables at breakfast time. And then some sort of protein-rich option. It could be from a protein food group or dairy, like yogurt, hard-boiled eggs, cottage cheese, or you can certainly do a protein powder if that's an easy way to get some extra protein in and you don't necessarily like to eat your breakfast. And then whole grains, of course. So simple would be oatmeal, granola.
So whole grains, you know, you hear different things different times. So like for a long time, everybody was eating brown rice.
Yes.
Then we heard, oh no, that really isn't as beneficial as you think. You are still, as a dietitian, a big supporter of whole grains.
Yes, yes. And I think, of course, it always depends on the individual because no person is alike. We respond to foods differently. And of course, if you have specific diseases that aren't going to be as responsive to carbohydrate-rich foods, you might want to consider cutting back. But generally speaking, most people could benefit from swapping, at least if you're already eating grains, to whole grains because it is going to provide more fiber. So oatmeal, brown rice would be an example, whole wheat pasta. Now, if you are somebody who's not necessarily comfortable with eating a lot of grains, you can get fiber from other places like beans and legumes. So lentils, black beans are great, incorporating them in a chili, but also just fruits and vegetables are going to provide that fiber source.
Okay, I know something that you seem to be a big supporter of, maybe I'm wrong, is the idea of eating 3 meals a day.
Yes.
So stress for us the benefit of that because your body needs to burn the calories you're giving it, right?
Absolutely. And it doesn't necessarily have to be 3 meals a day. What I advocate is having kind of planned regular meals.
Okay.
And so instead of meal skipping to kind of, if you're doing some sort of fast, I do think it's better to pay attention to our hunger and satiety cues. So eating when you're hungry. And that could be first thing when you wake up if you're really hungry and maybe you skipped dinner or didn't have a lot to eat for dinner. But it could also mean you postpone breakfast until after 10 if you're not hungry. So it really could look different for a lot of different people. 2 meals a day can be enough for some people.
If you are on a resolution to eat healthier, maybe lose some weight, is it important to look at serving sizes?
Oh,
I'm thinking about the pasta, and you don't want a plate like this. It's going to just be a little bit.
100%. And that is, I think, where carbohydrates get a bad reputation, and grains especially, is we could easily eat a whole, 3-cup portion of pasta, but a serving size that's going to provide around 80 calories and 15 grams of carbohydrates is 3/4 of a cup of cooked pasta.
Of cooked, which is not much if it's rigatoni.
Right, no, right, no, that's going to, and you can certainly eat more than a serving. Some people require more than a serving to meet their energy needs,
Right.
but just to be aware of serving size is going to be a good tip. A lot of people keep food journals this time of year especially, and just for the awareness, it doesn't necessarily have to be calorie counting, but to be aware of the portions that you're actually consuming, measuring utensils like cups and teaspoons and tablespoons, but also scales can be helpful for that as well.
So I'm trying to do some quick math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's just say that there are 20 items on this table. And if you save on average 30 cents by buying the store brand, you just save $6.
Yep, absolutely. It can make a big difference at the end of the week, especially if you're purchasing and trying to make changes for your entire family,
Right.
not just yourself. It can really make a big difference. And like I said, you're getting the same quality, you're getting similar ingredients. It's always wise to look at those nutrition labels to make sure. So some things to look out for, especially with something like granola, would be added sugar. Also with fruit, because we don't necessarily need additional sugar added to fruit.
Correct.
So when we're purchasing frozen or canned fruit, making sure that we're
Not the
avoiding
heavy
that.
syrup.
Yes,
if you
exactly.
possibly
And
can do it.
juice.
So who knew that Food City has a dietitian as brilliant as Nicole? But they do. So your local Food City has all these items. They'll look to make sure that you have a chance to get healthy meal prep. They have the flyers there to let you know what's
Yes.
on sale, recipe cards, all of it.
Yes.
Thanks for seeing us this morning.
Thanks for having me.